All right, these are gonna be the instructions for our pizza day. So step one is we're gonna wash our hands. Soap and water. Now step two is we're actually gonna turn on the oven, make sure there's nothing in it. So we're gonna turn on the oven. I like to bake mine to be about 400 degrees. Let the oven heat up. Some helpful items to have are gonna be a tablespoon and a teaspoon. If you don't have this, just use a spoon, a bigger spoon for a tablespoon. And also for shredding cheese, cheese grater comes in handy, pizza cutter at the end, and then a spatula or a flipper just to get the pizza off of the pan. Unless you want to eat it on the pan, but I wouldn't recommend that. That's a little savage. And that's Bachelor Skills 101. So you want to start with a pizza pan. Mine's pretty old. Make sure it's clean. And if you don't have the pizza pan, you can also use a flat cookie tray. Something that you can put your entire pizza on comfortably. All right, as our oven heats up, we're gonna keep going, creating our crust. So first, you're gonna actually empty this packet of yeast, quick rising yeast into there, which I already did. Then after that, we're actually gonna take a cup and a third of flour. So you got your flour, dump it in there, mix it with the yeast. And then 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. So that's not a lot of salt, just a little bit. Do it over the bowl so you make less of a mess. Your parents will thank you for that. So add your 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now we're gonna add a 1/2 cup of very warm water, not hot water, just kidding, it can be hot water, but very warm water to our mix. So 1/2 cup of very warm water. And then we're gonna stir this with a wooden spoon. You could use your hands as well, but I just find my hands get super sticky and super messy. If you prefer that, go for that. But I like to just mix things up with the wooden spoon. At first, it might look like it's too dry, but you just gotta keep mixing it in. Okay, I'm actually gonna use my hands. So what I'm doing here is I'm just trying to take all this flour and stick it to the dough. And if it's incredibly dry, as you can see here, I have a lot of extra dough. You can add a tiny bit of water, but not much. Otherwise, your dough is just gonna be really soupy. All right, so I'm gonna add a teeny bit more water. Not too much. Less is more here, so. Bit more. If you add too much, then you'll just get really soupy looking dough. But that can kind of be fixed, just add some more flour. If you're having a lot of difficulty, ask your parents and they can help you out. Yeah, be patient with it, have fun with it. Making pizza by hand, pizza from scratch. It's an impressive life skill. All right, sounds like the oven is done, so we're just gonna finish up. Punch it, you can knead it with your knuckles. Flip it over. knead it some more. Now, the dough is actually really come together, and you'll know that when it's no longer super crusty. It feels actually quite moist. So some of you don't like that word, moist, but that's too bad. It's just a very nice consistency. It's not quite wet and soggy, but it's not dry either, so it's moist. Now that we're done, we're actually going to cover this with a tea towel for 3 minutes. Now, let the dough rise. 3 minutes later. All right, so our dough is done. It's for 3 minutes, but I actually made a mistake, a big oof, is I actually forgot to add a teaspoon of sugar. So I'm gonna do that now. Better late than never, you know? You can still mix it in. So 1 teaspoon of sugar. Mix that in, as well as, I forgot to add the oil. So 2 tablespoons of oil. So that might change things, but we'll see. Stay tuned. Cooking with Kyle. All right. I highly recommend adding that in earlier. We're gonna mix it in anyways. See what happens. Oh yeah, it definitely makes your pizza a lot more moist. So that's probably why my dough is so dry at the beginning. So I forgot to add 2 tablespoons of oil and sugar, and so my crust was incredibly dry at the beginning because it was missing all this oil. Should be not too dry, but not too soft and slimy, so it looks like this. So I'm going to put this in here, and we're going to let it rise, or let it rest, as some would say, for 3 minutes. So put a towel over it, or tea towel, and let it go to sleep. Now, while we wait for the dough to rise for 3 minutes, you can actually make sure you grease your pan. So you can take anything like margarine or butter or lard. Don't tell my wife I'm doing this, but you can just, I'm being a bad example. It'd be better if you just grabbed a spoon of some sort or a tablespoon and then do that. So you just don't get germs in the margarine. But and then you can actually just rub this in the pan. This is gonna prevent your pizza from sticking to the bottom of your pan. I had that happen. I'll show you a photo of that, but it's really sad when your pizza sticks to the pan and all your hard work, you're just like, no. So yeah, make sure you grease your pan real good so your pizza doesn't stick to it. In the meantime, you can be putting stuff away like sugar and other ingredients and cleaning up while you wait, as well as greasing your pan. Also, it's important to actually start shredding your cheese. So yeah, get your cheese ready, as well as your pepperoni. So I'm gonna start slicing that up. All right, my video cut out, so I shredded the cheese. Pan is greased. Now once this is done, we are actually gonna pinch it down and roll it into a bit of a ball. So we're gonna roll this into a ball. Now we're gonna put it on our tray, and we are going to spread it evenly with our hands. It takes a little bit of time, a little bit of patience. Then at the ends, you're gonna kind of pinch our crust. So this creates a nice crust. So you make a little bit of a lip or crust for your pizza. Not too shabby. Here we go. Voila. Now, once you have your crust, we are gonna first start with a base layer of sauce. So here, I just have a can of pasta sauce or classical sauce. You can open that up. My hands were just a bit too greasy after handling that dough. So it's a good thing to wash your hands afterwards. I'm gonna take a tablespoon of your sauce. We're gonna add it. Don't add too much sauce. Just a thin layer of sauce. Otherwise, your crust isn't gonna crisp up the way you want it to. You just spread it with your spoon, like this. Add a bit more. Now this is looking like a pizza. Cover it with your pasta sauce. Put on pepperoni or whatever kind of meat you like. If you're feeling very adventurous, you can actually substitute the tomato sauce for barbecue sauce and add some chicken. I've seen people do barbecue chicken pizza as well as barbecue chicken bacon pizza. So you can add pepperoni, whatever kind of meat you like, and then add some cheese. Pepperoni is always a safe bet. Now we're gonna take our cheese, we're gonna sprinkle some of that over top of the pizza, nice and evenly. So you got a nice layer of cheese over top of your pizza. Pizza is done. We're gonna pop it in the oven, which is at 400 degrees. Make sure you don't get a blast of hot air in your face, so just open it for a second before you poke your head in there. Take your pizza pan. I can put it on the top rack. Close it up. We're gonna let this go for 15 to 20 minutes. So we're gonna set it for 15 minutes, just to be safe. And in 15 minutes, we'll check to see how our pizza crust is doing. Right, so the timer just went off. Let's see how our pizza's looking. Ooh. I just fogged up my camera. Oh, so it's looking good. It's crisping up really nicely. If you like it extra crispy, I'd suggest leaving it in a bit longer than 15 minutes. But I think this is perfect. 1 minute, or something that can protect your hands. And you're gonna grab some pizza. Grab a pan, don't grab it barehanded. You'll regret that. I've been there, done that. Close the oven. Make sure you turn it off, that's very important. Press stop or off. Now we're gonna let the pizza cool a little bit before we cut into it. And I'd suggest a pizza cutter. If you don't have, I suppose, ask your parents, see what they suggest, but pizza cutters are usually best for this. And then I use a spatula or flipper, scoop it off and put it onto a plate. All right, now that it's cool, take your pizza cutter. I like to slice it like professional pizza. Oops, 8 pieces. Hopefully you just don't lose your toppings or drag them too much. Pizza's all cut and served. Eat, enjoy, hang out with some friends on Zoom.